Hey people of the earth, it's Ed, MidsoleBud here. It's time for one of my favourite series on the channel, Running Shoe Yay or Nay. A show where I examine the recent or perhaps forthcoming running shoes and let you know if I'm going to be picking up a pair for review or not. It's not me saying that these are marvellous models or terrible trainers, simply whether I'm going to grab them or not for review. I've got 4 shoes today. Here they are. The winter-ready Voyage Nitro 3 GORETEX from Puma, the race-ready Salomon S PHANTASM 2, the Nike Pegasus 39 Shield, where's the 40? And last up, the beastly New Balance FRESHFOAM X More 4 PERMAFROST. Let's get to it, people. Thanks for joining me on the channel once again. Help us to continue to grow by hitting that subscribe button, but also giving this video a thumbs up like. Dankeschön. First shoe up today is from Puma. This is the Voyage Nitro 3 GORETEX. It starts us off today. I'm game to test out some Puma winterized shoes. After all, they do have some of the best outsoles on some more road or pavement-based running shoes. Tremendous traction on testing on the trails, perhaps. This Puma features a nitro-based midsole, but also a large helping, and I'm talking, you know, grandma's house at Christmas Day, that sort of helping of Puma grip rubber on the underside of the shoe, with the type of lugs that you would not want to run into walking down a dark alley at the dead of night. In other words, they're right chunky. You do have a pro foam layer here in the midsole to add some stabilisation, as Nitro's quite a bouncy foam, and I can't imagine that you'd want to be doing that across Steven Squirrel's winter wonderland. The all-important Gore-Tex membrane layer here within to stave off the insanity you may experience from water getting into your shoes. Do you see what I did there? Insanity, membrane, insane. Yeah, you get it. Okay. In the winter, you don't want things cooling those feet on your early morning escapades around the local rural routes. I'm not talking tree roots either. Extended rubber into the toe box to protect the foot digits, and your typical booty-like construction here too. We're talking 140 earth credits for this one. I think it's quite a nice price point really for a winterized shoe with a little bit more stack. I think if Puma don't reach out with a pair for me to test, I will fork out some earth credits to grabble. So it's a yay on the Puma Voyage Nitro 3 GORETEX. I rarely see Puma trail shoes in the wild, like locally. I think they need to do more to perhaps get them into some of the more sort of regional stores, I guess, so that people might give them a whirl. Shoe number 2 is from Salomon this time. The S PHANTASM 2 has a very unique profile underfoot by the looks. There's a very wide forefoot area there and very narrow in the heel. Sort of travels inwards there to this sort of point, quite unlike anything else out there on the market from that perspective. There's an aggressive drop here, 9mm. That might be music to some people's ears, or a dirge. Salomon reckon this one's good for 4 runs or more per week. You don't hear that very often about super shoes, do you? They're like, don't even look at them. You know, just put them in the box and leave them there for your races, or they're gonna just fall apart. It's a bit like Spinal Tap, isn't it, where he tells him not to even look at the vintage guitar. A suggested sample stack here of 37.5mm brings this one in just under the typical 40 that we've come to expect from race shoes, though with this one being only 219 grams, it's still well within the featherweight category. Very light mesh on the upper, very reminiscent of the stuff we found on the Vaporfly Next Percent perhaps, and a profile almost exactly like the recent Vaporfly 3 model. Of course, you've got to have a carbon plate and 3-section rubber on the outsole too. That makes up this design, which is about as close to a smartphone as you can get. What I'm talking about there is that as smartphones have been refined over many years, we've kind of got the same thing now in pretty much every smartphone. It all does the same thing. In terms of human-computer interaction, the icons are all the same sizes, colours used in the same way, blah blah blah. Super shoes have kind of got to that point as well now, where the design has been refined down. There's very few things that we can change. I guess Adidas have done something a little bit different there with the rods. Everyone else is going with carbon spoons. 240 smackaroonies, quite the price to pay to test out a shoe that may or may not do the job for me in a sea of other options that I've got for racing. Quite a few of those are less expensive as well, and they're tried and tested in terms of durability. I do love that red stripe design on the side of the shoe. It's a stylish look, but it's going to be a nay on the Salomon S PHANTASM 2 for the time being. I just don't need any more carbon spatulas right now, especially at that higher price. Sorry, cats. Shoe 3. I was intrigued to see a new Pegasus 39 shield appear on the Nike main website and some other retailers here in the UK. I fully expected to see a Pegasus 40 shield round about now. It's always that half-term kind of vibe. They always release it just before Christmas, so bewildered after a year and a half or so of the Pegasus 39 being out that they've released a shield model. It's just plain weird. Or is it? Perhaps Nike simply can't justify calling this one the Pegasus 40 shield after the midsole of the two models is practically the same. Maybe they just figured they'd name it the 39. Maybe it wasn't manufactured or produced in time for winter last year, and as such it's been waiting, sat in a warehouse collecting dust. Well, at least it won't get mouldy, I suppose, with its sort of shield-like properties. 135 smackaroonies is 20 quid over the standard Pegasus price, and you get a treated upper material and special panels around the toes to keep the pesky water droplets out. Because that's all I'm thinking of right now as winter's approaching. You know, I just can barely get out the house. I'm joking, of course. The midsole is great on the 39 and the 40, those two air units embedded in the foam. Nike suggests the following. This is quite funny. The in-house sports research lab plugged foot strike data into a proprietary algorithm that determined how much cushioning was needed and where. They simulated testing on approximately 100 possible shoe geometries to quickly determine the handful they knew would work best for most runners, then merged the science with an elegant design intended to feel like a slipper on a mattress. From a man that's wore the two shoes, I'd say they're pretty cushioned. We got Nike Storm Tread outsole here, which I did enjoy on some other Nike Shield models. It tends to have lots of surface area and lots of channels cut into it to facilitate better water shedding. Also stops larger debris getting lodged in there because nobody wants to feel that. I would like to know though where the Pegasus 40 shield is. Pretty much though I guess what we would have got in a 40 shield here, so I just don't have need for another Pegasus at the moment. The Pegasus 40 itself is a good daily shoe for me. I've actually been wearing it to gigs, and where I'm stood up for like 2.5 hours it really does save my legs, and I just don't feel that I need a shield version of that shoe. The UK's just not that cold. It never gets that cold. So for me this time around it's a nay on the Pegasus 39 shield. I think Frankie Ford would like this next one. Shoe 4 is the boat-like beast, the amphibious vehicle known as the New Balance FRESHFOAM X More 4 Permafrost. God, I need to take a deep breath after that one. The max cushioned appearing monster is only 34mm in the sample size, really? And weighs a whopping 304 grams, which mean in my size it's going to be pretty weighty. Bon Scott would say, that's a whole lot of shoe. There's a hydrohesion rubber application on the underside of the shoe, which apparently is made from real octopus tentacles. It's not at all. When you resurface from the water on those wet and slippery surfaces, you'll be just fine. There's loads of traction. And there's a toggle lace system when you get home and realise you can't untie normal laces on your running shoes, and you have to get your wife to do it. She'll give you the shake of the head as if to say,
fool, what you been doing out there?
There's something very aquatic about this version of the More 4. It's got those massive sidewalls here and a very prominent rocker within the heel and the forefoot. It does appear to be almost like a curved cruiser for the colder climates. I haven't seen too many of these shoes in person, I have to be honest, but I really do dig the burgundy and black vibes here. Although it's a bit more sort of summer fruits, Mr. Kipling sort of pie than a pint of Guinness in front of the fire. Perhaps there's just too much shoe for me here in standard form, and in this winter more version is just a little bit too much more. And it's costly too. 160 Earth credits is getting up there, especially with old Christmas around the corner. I can almost hear Santa's sleigh. That could just be the bell of the beast. So it's a nay on the New Balance FRESHFOAM X More version 4 Permafrost. That's gotta go down as one of the longest shoe names this year. Let me know what you make of these four down in the comments. I got a fantastic musical interlude for you today. It's shoe related. I'm going to do a little sort of running series of these. This one's from Bobby Blue Bland and it's just titled Shoes. Really fantastic Northern Soul number, this one. Lots of energy. Fantastic vocal performance from Bobby as well. He's kind of talking about how his shoes keep sort of walking him back to this girl that's done him wrong. No matter how many bad things she's done, he keeps on heading back there. They keep walking him back towards her. Normally the word shoes brings me sort of excitement and like a beguilement, I suppose. But this time around you can really feel the guy's pain. He's looking down at his shoes going, no, what am I doing? Why am I going back? You know, if you're in that type of relationship, you've got to seriously consider whether you should stay there. If not, put your running shoes on, turn the other way and go somewhere else where people appreciate you. That brings me on to another subject, people. I know there's a lot of you out there that might be struggling right now. You know, you're getting up, sky sort of looking a bit bleak. The weather's drawing in, the nights are drawing in, aren't they? It's getting much darker, much quicker. People can really struggle around this time of year. I just want you to remember that you're always valued. You've always got something to offer. And if anyone ever tells you that you haven't, don't listen to them. You've got the right to be here. And you've got the right to have fun and enjoy yourself. Always remember that, people. If you give it your best, that's always good enough. Thanks for tuning in today, people. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you